Hey guys, good morning. It is October 19th. I think it's Monday, and I'm trying to head to work. So I was going to take the bus, but I forgot the bus at this hour in the morning doesn't run as often as I'm used to. So it would not be to my bus stop for another 20 minutes or so. So I looked for an Uber, no cars available. Then I looked for a Lyft. I had to wait 15 minutes for a Lyft. 7 minutes into that, apparently, that driver canceled. And then thankfully another driver is on the way here. Hopefully he's only here. He's only about 5 minutes away, thankfully. So I'll have about 35 minutes to get to the airport and check in. So that should be okay. But I don't know why it's always so hard to get to work. I know I can schedule a Lyft or an Uber. It just, I trust that about as much as I trust the regular app, you know? So I don't know. Especially when I move, I'm going to really have to throw money into looking for a used car, because the stress that I go through just trying to get to work using public transportation or an Uber or a Lyft is just ridiculous. In normal times when the pandemic isn't around, Ubers and Lyfts are all over the place, so it's not a problem. But these days, I don't know, it's real hard. It's real hard. All right, so the driver should be here in a minute or two, so let's go to work. All right, so my Lyft driver was fantastic. His name was Grover, and he was just as nice as someone whose name is Grover would be normally. So I did get here plenty of time. It's 5:42, plenty of time to get to the check-in. I'm grabbing a Jamba Juice smoothie because I did not eat breakfast. And then I'll be checking in and then heading to Atlanta. Hey guys, hello there. Welcome back to Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta a lot this month. In fact, I think I'm here next week too. But today was really nice. Now this morning, I have to apologize. I was Mr. Cranky Pants this morning. I was not at my most charming. I had not eaten, which is a rarity for me. Look at my face. I don't skip meals very often. I had forgotten that the bus does not run that often, that early in the morning, and I really didn't sleep very much. Buddy woke me up around 2:30 and is very vocal at that time, and I had to wake up at 4, and it was not conducive to a good night's sleep. So I was super cranky. I'm so sorry about that. But the flight to Atlanta totally made up for that. So I got a smoothie at the airport, and that held me over until I inhaled a muffin on the plane, of course. But the flight from Vegas was super easy. It's a Monday morning, super early. Everyone's tired after a weekend away in Vegas, and so they were all sleeping, or they were all behaving for sure. Yeah, usually, Vegas to Atlanta can be a little extra sometimes really extra. But this was flawless, really a perfect flight. I'm flying lead, which is my favorite position. And my coworker Justine, who I have a line with this month, was up in front with me again. She was with me last week too. Just a joy, really a really nice time. Can't complain. Our flight crew is great. Our captain is in particular one of my favorite captains in base. He's so funny. Just a really nice flight. Got back here to the hotel room. I've unpacked. I've already watched a couple of videos. I'm watching a documentary on cat ladies, like people who own 120 cats, and totally identifying with them. Totally. There's this one woman who has like 16 cats, and she's like, I'll be single for the rest of my life because I have 16 cats. What do I need? I have all my emotional needs met. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, it's a problem. Yeah, I can't have more than 3 cats. Yeah, so it's a nice day. It's a nice day. I'm going to probably take a short nap. I probably shouldn't, because that means I'll probably sleep for 4 hours. But take a short nap. I'm going to heat up some macaroni and cheese with broccoli. And then I think I'll just watch some YouTube and stuff. I'm probably going to also take a look at my bids for the month of November. Bidding closes tomorrow morning at like 9 a.m. East Coast time. So I want to double check my bids and see that I have the right lines. Bidding just awful. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in a previous video, but lines for next month, like, they are awful. They are just awful. And my company's not offering the monthly voluntary time off. So some of our senior folks who did not take extended time off are coming back to work. So they'll get the better trips. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So I will talk to you guys later on. Have a great day. Hey guys, how are you? My nose is itchy. So we're in Atlanta still. It's 6:10 in the morning. I've just finished my safety checks, and so we're ready to start our day. I need ice, but that's about it. We're heading to LA today. The flight is supposed to take about 4 hours and 12 minutes, which I guess could be worse. We get in pretty early in the morning, like 9:30 or something like that. And the first thing I have to do is just drop my bags and run to a bank. Now, I may not even change out of my uniform because the shirt I have in my suitcase, like the layover shirt I had in there for like the last week or two, I only wear it like 2 or 3 times over the course of 2 weeks. So it's in my bag. I realize it's torn. There's a big giant hole under my left arm, which is heartbreaking because I love that shirt. But I really don't know if I want to throw on like a torn shirt to walk into a bank to wire money. You know, what's that going to look like? So I might just stay in my uniform. Who knows? Excuse me. And wire money. What do you mean wire money, Steven? What are you doing? Well, if you have not already seen the video, I'm doing a separate video about the process I'm going through. My offer for a house was accepted. If you have not seen that video, I'm putting it together now. I'm not sure when I'm going to post it. The offer for a house, and I'll say that it's near Pecos and Desert Inn, if you know Las Vegas at all. It's in that general area. It's very safe neighborhood, super quiet. All you hear are birds. You don't hear like all manner of crap that I hear at my current apartment. So my offer was accepted, and so now I have already scheduled my inspection, paid for that already. That was $300 for the inspection. But now I have to wire my earnest money, which is $2,500, to the person who is called I don't know, escrow. I have no idea. I know who I have to wire it to. That's all I really know. So I have to find a bank and have that money wired today. Otherwise, nothing works. So that's my goal today. And to survive this flight, I got about, I don't know, 5, maybe 6 hours of sleep. Enough, but I'm still tired for a 4-hour flight to LA. So the load is 166 passengers, so it could be worse. All right, so I'll see you in LA. Hey guys, howdy. Welcome to LA. Let's get a look at this really exciting room. Fancy, huh? Yes, those are my pants. I take those off the minute I get in my room. Somehow I'm not terribly erotic in my my undies. Let's see. This flight was something else, I'll tell you. There is a reason that most senior folks tend to fly in the back. Yeah, today was one of those reasons. It was a challenging flight. Most of the flight was blocked at 5 hours. It really took us 4 hours and 12 minutes, which is fantastic. But I'd say about an hour before we landed, one of our guests, a female, raised some alarm that something was wrong. And this guy who was sitting next to her was making her very uncomfortable. And he was doing so by pulling out a pair of underwear from his bag, from what she said. And he pulled out something that could be used as a weapon that shouldn't have passed through TSA. and this is totally on TSA, and him for actually taking it on board and then pulling it out in front of the guest. It made her uncomfortable, made another woman who was sitting next to him uncomfortable. She moved, but this young lady raised a little bit of a ruckus, justifiably, rightfully so, that one of my coworkers came over, determined what the situation was, separated the two of them, and I went up. I really didn't think that, you know, we should dismiss anything, especially, you see in the news all these times that women or men, I don't know, but mostly women, have been like assaulted on planes, and they'll say that the flight attendants didn't do anything, and I don't see how that's even possible, but I did not want this to be one of those flights. So I went up and I sort of asked her, super friendly tone, hi, you know, I hear something's happened over here. What, you know, what can I do? What can I help with? What happened, you know? And she told me, and it was pretty uncomfortable, and I would have been very uncomfortable, especially with this thing that could have been used as a weapon. Yeah, I'm probably sharing too much information with you anyway. So then she told me what happened, and that there was kind of a verbal threat, honestly, as well, you know, so I went over to the gentleman, the young man, who was actually very polite, because I think he probably knew something was up, I don't know. And I was like, hey, you know, hi, you know, I was just told that this kind of thing just happened. Any word from you? He's like, and also, do you happen to have this particular object that she mentioned, she described it, and he said yes. I said, where would that be right now? And he's like, in my bag. And I said, all right, great. You know, we're gonna put it in the overhead bin, and I'm gonna ask you not to touch your bag until we've landed and you're deplaning. I didn't know what else to say at that moment. And so, you know, I definitely want to talk to the captain. And so thankfully they had to pee, so we did our little flight deck procedure, and I went into the flight deck and I talked with the captain about what happened, and it really could have gone very, very south from what happened in the plane. So out of an abundance of caution, nothing was happening after the separation. We contacted the ground, and they had LEOs, law enforcement officers, meet the plane, and for some reason they had me escort the guy off the plane just to question him. Somehow they thought that it was better that I do it. Very uncomfortable. But they were waiting for him on the plane. I don't know why they didn't just do it, but and they just wanted to talk to him and find out what was going on. Then they asked me to go ask the young lady to come off the plane. I'm like, why aren't they doing this? This is their job, right? But whatever. So, you know, I had to somehow use a pleasant enough tone with enough respect, you know, and all that, to ask them to please, would you mind just coming out and sharing your side of the story? And she was like, sure, no problem. And it could have gone really, really the other way, I'm sure. But, you know, the law enforcement spoke with both of them, and then we let all the passengers off the plane. They let both of them go. We saw both of these passengers, our guests, in the airport. I was kind of hoping the police would kind of hold on to the guy and talk to him for a little while longer, because I didn't want him chasing after us in the airport, you know. I don't know, it could have gone really, really different than it did. But you know, everyone really behaved. Everyone on the plane, I asked everyone to please remain seated until we let you guys know it's safe to go, and everyone stayed seated. It's very strange, because usually, you know, 10 people ignore that order request. But yeah, it turned out fine in the end for us, but it was just very strange, and it took more diplomacy than I really thought I had to not escalate anything and just sort of try to resolve the problem. So I'm pretty proud of myself for today's work, if I can just, you know, give myself praises. But my crew was also awesome. The position C, he was fantastic in sort of making sure that I was aware that things were going, you know, what had been happening. Rather than just keep it to himself, thinking the problem was solved, he shared what was going on, as he should have. It's called CRM, Crew Resource Management. It's making sure information goes where it has to go. And it was a perfect example of CRM on the plane today. And it really worked out well, and the captain applauded us, which is nice. But it was just unnecessary. It was disrespectful. So yeah, that was done. And then we had to wait for the shuttle forever. And then we got here. And so I unpacked my stuff. I've got some food in the my Hot Logic Mini. And I'm gonna sit and rest for a few minutes. It is 9:55. And I found out that there is a Bank of America directly across the street, which is who I bank with. So I'm gonna go over there after I've had a little juice and a cookie or something, and wire my, what's it called? Earnest money. It's earnest money. It's sort of a, I'm serious amount of money deposited to the buyer, so that, or escrow something. I don't know. I trust my lender and my realtor. I have to wire money to somebody to show them that I'm really serious about this house that I've put an offer on. So I'll be able to do that. They're right across the street. How great is that? I was afraid I'd have to like Uber somewhere to find a bank. So there you go. And then I'm going to try to stay awake for a little while and then get to bed super early. We have a super early show tomorrow. I have been tempted to reach out to my friend Randy to say, hey, I'm gonna be in LA if you wanna grab a bite to eat or something. But this layover, which was gonna be fairly long, about 20 hours, really isn't long enough to meet up with friends. I need to go take care of this banking business like a real adult, surreal. And then I need to be in sleep super early. So next time I have a longer layover, which is potentially next week, I'll let my friend Randy know. But yeah, so there you go. I will talk to you guys later on today if anything interesting happens at the bank, or I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Good morning, guys. Hi, we're in LA. We're going to be heading towards Kansas City, but I need maintenance to come on board and fix an armrest. But I don't know if I can push this door open without setting off an alarm. Sometimes you don't know. We'll see. All right, I'm not going to open the door. I don't want to set off an alarm in LAX because I open a door at the wrong time. So I'll wait for the gate agent to come down or a pilot to come down and have them call maintenance. It's just an armrest that needs to be fixed, but no big deal. We have about we're guessing around 140 people on board, 160 people on board. So I didn't think this many people go to Kansas City from LA. Who goes to Kansas City from LA? Whatever. Hey there, so I have a little flight information just in case you're curious. I have to write it on my hand because I'll forget. Flight time to Kansas City, 2 hours and 48 minutes. We're booked at 124 passengers, but the gate agent told the captain 110, so maybe some people haven't checked in, I'm not sure yet. But so it's a goodish a number of people on the plane. I could handle a light load just at least once on this trip. I don't know why I'm so tired, but yeah, let's go to Kansas City. All right, so that flight from LA to Kansas City was a real pleasure. I know, I was gonna say, I know I say that a lot lately, and thank goodness, right? But I don't expect anything less of people from Kansas City. They're always lovely, always a pleasure, never a problem. So we did have one woman who came on board a little fluid, shall we say, but I think it was that she was anxious to fly, and so she'd taken something. But it was 2 hours and 48 minutes from LA to Kansas City, and the return flight to LA is 3 hours even, and we're booked at 105 passengers. And I'm really happy with that. 3 hours I can take easily. And, you know, most of our flights have been super, super full, and that's fine. But once in a while, because I have a job, you know, I want to make sure I have work. But once in a while, it's nice to have a light load. You know, it's just kind of refreshing. But yeah, we'll get back to Atlanta to LA. Wait for the shuttle, and we get in like 3 something. We won't get to the hotel until after 4, even though the hotel is like a 3-minute drive. But and we have a noon show or something like that tomorrow, so plenty of time to eat and sleep and watch YouTube videos about buying new homes, decorating, that kind of thing. So yeah, there you go. All right, I will see you in LA. Hey guys, hi there. Welcome back to LA. This trip has a lot of LA. The layovers are like 19, almost 20 hours. Yesterday's layover was dedicated to the bank, to IHOP. Those pancakes were killer. And then really trying to sleep, which was not really terribly successful. This layover in LA is about 19 hours, but it's already close to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I might take a 20-minute nap because I'm like deliriously tired and I'm super hungry. But I'm gonna make some dinner. I'll watch some YouTube, mostly videos about how to build a cat enclosure, a catio. And then I'll go to bed. I want to get a really good night's sleep. Tomorrow we're flying from here in LA to New Orleans and then back to Vegas. Not the longest day, but still, I'm tired of being tired, so I want to get a good night's sleep. Now, you've heard me say lately, which is beautiful, can't complain, that many of my flights have been just perfect, flawless, not a problem. Today, while seemingly a very long day, we had an LA, Kansas City turn. Couldn't have been better. I love my crew, Justine especially up in front with me, but these people from Kansas City are just something else. They're the nicest, most friendly people I think I've ever met. Even the cleaners and the rampers and everyone at the airport was super, super nice. The ramper was like, "Bye, have a great day," when he was taking the bags downstairs. I mean, and our guests, I mean, the passengers were just amazing. These are people like I'll miss for like a week. I'll be thinking about these people for a long time. One is she teaches dentistry, and then another one is having her boards tomorrow. She does like sonograms and stuff like that, and just really amazing people. Just a really, really nice flight. Oh, and then I get to the airport, and I noticed that I had received a phone call from crew scheduling when I was on the plane. Now, I make it a habit because I really, really technically don't have to answer a phone call from crew scheduling, I don't think. But I didn't listen to the voicemail until I got to the hotel because I really didn't want to, like, I don't know, be like sent somewhere else, which would almost never happen, and it's kind of illegal in some ways. But so I listened to the voicemail, and the voicemail was so garbled, and it was in a super thick accent. I didn't understand a word really of what they said, except for October 31st and TAJ. Now, if you work for my company, you know how exciting it is to hear those 2 words put together, especially since Halloween, the flight I had scheduled. Oh. So I called crew scheduling up and I said, hey, I got a message. And yes, indeed. So the flight I was supposed to work on Halloween was canceled. Now, we don't cancel flights that often. It's a very unusual circumstance when we cancel flights, especially like a week in advance. But I'm not upset. So they canceled the flight. So they put me on what's called TAJ. Now, TAJ is kind of like being on reserve if you're a line holder, just for that one block of time where that flight is supposed to have, the footprint of that pairing. Now, so mine is just a turn, but it was a turn from Las Vegas to Newark, and then flying back to Las Vegas with no sit, no time to get off the plane, no time for coffee, nothing. Just zip, zip. And if that doesn't sound like hell, I don't know what does. But it was like a 10-hour credit turn. So I got it. Well, they canceled the flight. So they put me on what's called THA, which means I am paid for that time. I'm pay protected for those hours. Or they can call me and use me for another kind of trip, a different type of trip. So they could do that to me. They could. But they would have to call me, and I would be paid the greater of the two. So if I'm called to do a turn to Kansas City again, which I would love to do, I would do that turn and I would be paid whatever the credit is. Like the Newark turn would be a higher credit. So I'm going to be pay protected for those 10, whatever it is, hours. They could call me and use me for a trip though, but I think they have to call me within like 48 hours of the trip that they want to schedule me. And I have a trip that ends around there. So the idea of them, the chance of them calling me to work a trip for THA is like this big, especially since we have a ton of reserves. So I don't know if they would call me first, if they would call THA before they would call a reserve. I have no idea, but it's a pretty darn small chance. And even if they called me for a trip, it wouldn't be as bad as a Newark turn, so I'll happily take whatever they give me. Now, I got my schedule for November, and because this video might be already a little long, I don't know, I might save letting you know what my schedule is for November for my next video. But I'm off for the first 4 days in November. So technically, they could call me for a trip that would start on the 31st that could continue into those days. Now they would owe me, no, they wouldn't owe me anything, but I would be getting, you know, credit for the whole trip, per diem, all sorts of stuff. So it just means money, 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 and I will take that right now, because guess who's buying a house, right? I'm almost manic. When I figured this out that I was being put on THA, I almost did this little dance in my hotel room. I did, I'll be honest, but I'm super excited about it. So, yay, right? So now I'm gonna eat a little something because I am overly tired and super hungry. I think today I've eaten half of like 2/3 of a breakfast burrito, a can of Pringles. I think that's it. So it's time for some food and a short nap. And then, oh, I have to download my pay stubs for September and my bank statements for September as well for, I think, my escrow company or something. I'm not sure who, the escrow holder, the title holder, somebody. I have to send that to them. So that's what I'll be doing today. And there you go. So I'll talk to you later on tonight if anything wacky happens. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. All right, have a great night, and I will see you later. Hey guys, hi. So it's 9:41. I'm still in LA. My van time is at 11 tomorrow, 11:30. So I'm trying to put together a video about the processes I'm going through in buying a house. I've already posted one video about, you know, up to the point that I paid my earnest money. Tonight I received some paperwork to sign for my loan. Sorry, hold on one sec. So I received that paperwork, and going through it line by line. Let me turn the light on. Going through it line by line. I was told that my estimated closing costs were going to be $3,500. And so that is, and that's been part of my loan. It was discussed with my realtor, who then in turn had to discuss that with my loan officer. I'm getting mad again. In that, so that, I told you in another video. So I increased the offer by the same amount as my closing cost, asking the sellers to cover closing costs, right? Well, I'm going through these forms, about my loan, saying that I've received all this information, acknowledging that I've received it and I understand it. So I'm reading this document, and it's a really long, complicated document written in a foreign language to me, legalese, contract language. And I come near the end, I come upon this section that talks about what my closing costs are going to be. And the closing costs, as they write down there, I'm getting that again, $9,600 and something, almost $10,000, which doesn't sound like $3,500, does it? It doesn't rhyme. And so I tried making rhyme or reason of it and trying to figure out, well, I don't know. So my down payment for the house is 3.5%. So the down payment's like $5,800, something like that. It's just under $6,000. $2,500 of that I've paid towards with my earnest money, and I did that yesterday. So the remainder of my down payment is, whatever the difference is, right? And these forms are saying, no, you're going to pay another like $5,000 or $6,000 on top of that. And I called my realtor, I called my loan officer, but she's just having surgery. And then I called her assistant or her partner in the business, and he wasn't answering the phone. So I called my realtor, she answered the phone. I love her. I really do love her. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. It's supposed to be this. And so she called and contacted my loan officer, and I spoke with her assistant finally, and he tried explaining something, and I don't know. Someone should have been available and walked me through this form, as Rachel did with my contracts. Someone should have given me some guidance as to what I was looking at through this, and they didn't. They just sent it to me. I started looking through it, trying to work through it. It was asking me, the email was asking me to sign these things, acknowledging I understood. And so my down payment, my closing costs, not my down payment, separate, but closing costs are almost $10,000. And I called Rachel, and she's like, that doesn't make any sense, because like that's a closing cost on a house that's 2 or 3 times as expensive as yours. So I just filmed a little while ago when I was waiting for another phone call for a separate video I'm doing about this process and how upset I was and disappointed. And if you watch it, I do apologize, because I'm not pleasant. Because I'm angry, I'm disappointed, I'm afraid that I'm not getting the house. So I don't know what's going on. Today I was walking down the aircraft thinking, oh my God, this holiday I'm going to be able to decorate my own house, my own home for Christmas, and whatever. It might not work. It might not happen. So I'm going to get a phone call hopefully tomorrow morning from my lender, giving me some clue as to what's happening, because right now it doesn't feel like it's happening, and I'm upset. I'm really upset. Again, I feel like I'm going to be trapped in this stupid studio that I've been in for 3.5 years, But I'll find out more tomorrow. It doesn't pay to be as upset as I am right now without knowing everything. But I really feel like I should have been guided more and just had some information. I don't know. I'm getting upset again. So I'll see you tomorrow morning. I shouldn't even have filmed this bit for this video. But I don't want the next video I post about this process and what's going on to be a complete surprise. So we'll see. I'll talk to you tomorrow when I find out more information. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I left the room because in this mood, all I want to do is eat. I mean, yeah. Haagen-Dazs. It's not quite a pint. Almost $12 at the hotel. I'm eating all of it tonight with a giant spoon. Will I feel better afterwards? Probably not, but it's worth a try. Hey guys, how are you? Good morning. It is about 10 past 11 in the morning here in LA. I did manage to sleep last night. I'm very surprised by that because I was disappointed, livid, angry, disgusted, frustrated, feeling stupid, whole bunch of things last night when I went to bed regarding this whole scenario with the house. A few of my friends on Facebook, my longtime friends, you know, they're all trying to be positive and optimistic, saying, you know, it's not really a great story about how you bought your house if it wasn't a nightmare. And I'm like, I've had plenty of nightmares in my life. Plenty. I've been stabbed in the chest, divorced, lived in a car. I got plenty of nightmares. I don't need one more. I really don't. So, if you can hear my tone, I'm really a little frustrated this morning in that I spoke with April's coworker, peer, I don't know who he is, Kendall, last night, and told him that I am available until noon today. And we're in the same time zone, so it's not like multiple time zones to worry about when they can call. I'm available until noon, but I can't talk after that because I have a 12:09 showtime today. My van is in about 20 minutes. So he told me she'll call you, you know, bright and early in the morning to calm you down with, you know, and give you information. But yeah, it's past 11 in the morning. I'm just using my Hot Logic Mini to heat up some that chicken and asparagus and little potatoes that I like so much. So today we're flying to New Orleans and then back to Las Vegas. I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I've got another 4-day, and it's really, the first day is awful. It's a 5 a.m. showtime and 3 legs. So it's going to be a really, really rotten day, long day. I'm tempted to use some vacation time but with vacation time, you have to submit it and hope that they approve it. So, I don't know. All right, so I'm getting more and more depressed and more melancholy, I think is the word. That's the word, while I talk about this. So I'm gonna eat my breakfast / lunch and then just go downstairs to get this day started. If I hear anything or don't, I'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, all right, so we're in New Orleans. We all got off the plane thinking that we had, you know, time to just stretch our legs or grab a quick bite, like really quick, because we have almost no time before we're supposed to board again. And sorry, it's a little loud right here. But everything is closed. It all closed at 6 o'clock. So yeah, so that last flight was something else. I'll tell you, it was, I need a vacation, I gotta tell you, because it took everything I had to remain civil. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of stuff. People are starting to drink their own alcohol on board, and then during boarding, this woman comes up to me, and this passenger, our guest, comes up, and she's upset that her son, she and her son had booked seats next to each other. They had paid for those seats to select those seats, and they paid a fair amount of money to select those seats in the exit row. And then before boarding, I guess one of the gate agents moved him. They reassigned him, and I don't know why, because they're not going to tell me why they're reassigning people. So he's sitting in the way in the back. She's up in the mid cabin, and she is losing her mind. And so I got to tell you, I said, you know, I'll do whatever I can. I'll do my best to, you know, accommodate and make sure that you guys are sitting next to each other. no worries. I'm sure I can find some way to do it. And I must have said that 3 or 4 times. And she kept talking over me. And then she like goes away and she comes back even more upset than she was the last time. And then she showed me receipts on her phone. And I said, I totally get it, miss. You know, I can do my best to help you get that refunded, that amount you were charged. It just went on and on. It must have been 15 attempts to just to say, yes, I can take care of it. It's just not at this moment. Once boarding is complete, I can take care of you. And it turns out the woman that was sitting in the seat that her son was originally assigned was a white woman. And this passenger that I'm talking about was black. And she, at some point, this turned into a race issue. And she's calling me a racist. She's calling the company a racist, that the gate agents are racist. The gate agent, one of them was black and one's a Latino woman. I mean, whatever. And it was just like this, it just erupted in the forward galley. This woman just accusing us of being racist and like me of being a racist. It was just, yeah, it was not the way I wanted to start this day, after the fact that I had not received a phone call from Amber or her coworker Kendall. They both, he told me that one of them would call me in the morning. Nothing. I told them I was available until noon. Noon, same time zone. It's not like I'm in New York or something. Can you hear my tone go really mad? And yeah. So I'm like over, I mean, I don't even know how to process. I don't even know what this means. So, yeah, so I'm gonna calm down and get ready for this next flight home. I can't wait to get home and just be off for 3 days, possibly 4. So I'll talk to you later. I'm sorry I'm so upset. Hey guys, how are ya? So I'm home, and this trip has been a trip. I will tell you, this last leg was just so much. It was so much. But I'm home, and you can see I've already been embracing kitties. I have not been taking my allergy medication for the past couple of days. I've forgotten completely, and so I have these little red welts that are growing along my forearms here, and I'm going to stop breathing soon if I don't take it. So for those of you who don't know, I am severely allergic to cats, and yes, I have 3 of them. Don't ask. So, couple things. First off, there has been some resolution, as you can tell by the tone of my voice, which is very different than it was earlier in this video, right? And I apologize for being that mad, but I was really mad. So I was really mad this morning when no one called me. No one from my lender's office called me, and I was assured they would. And I was disappointed again. And I was sure that I was not going to have my house. I was not going to get my house because whatever. So, and yeah, no voicemail, no phone call. And when we got to New Orleans, after that lovely leg, when we got to New Orleans, I saw that I had a voicemail, and it was from Amber, my loan officer, and she was apologizing for not calling because she's running a little slow as she just had a surgery, and I feel really bad, of course, being angry, but so she called me. She left a message saying, please don't worry, I'm going to take care of this. Anything above what we talked about in terms of numbers, we're going to take care of somehow, so don't worry. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I called her. I had a few minutes. I had to hide in the bathroom. But I called her, and there were no passengers on board, but I just didn't want cleaners and all that stuff going on. So I hid in the bathroom. And I called her, and she assured me that the numbers that were on that document were inflated for some reason. I don't know why. She said something, because I wasn't really hearing her clearly, something about the government is going to get this form, and they want to see like the maximum numbers that like could potentially ever possibly happen. I need that allergy medication soon. But then even through that, there was like, it was higher than it should have been even then. And so she said, please, please don't worry. We're going to take care of you. You're very important to us. And she said, you know, you're only going to pay your down payment because, you know, as you probably know, the sellers are taking care of the closing costs. The closing costs were supposed to be about $3,500 to like 38 something. The sellers, I'm sorry, we're going to take care of the closing costs so I wouldn't have to. And, you know, I added that amount to the loan, the bid. My God, I can't talk. I'm so tired. The offer is to make it more of a sensible offer that they would accept, and they did. So I wasn't going to have to pay closing costs, but the closing costs were set at like $3,500. And this paper was telling me it was closer to almost $10,000. I was sure that I wasn't going to get the house because this was going to complicate that, blah, 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 blah. So she assured me that anything over the numbers that were set down in our contracts of the closing costs, that if there was anything left over, that the lender, were going to credit. They have a lender's credit. I'm not sure what that is. They were going to credit me that amount of money. So I wasn't going to have to pay anything except for my down payment. And my down payment is 3.5% of $165,000, whatever that is. It's like $5,800 or something like that. $2,500 of that has already been paid. And I paid the $300 for the guy who's going to look over the house, which is called an inspection. I can't think, I'm so tired. So it seems like everything is back on track with the house. You can tell I was upset. I filmed one clip of me just reading these numbers, and I was crying so hard that I was crying harder than I was when I gave those rescued kittens to that woman. I mean, I was almost sobbing. Because I was sure I was going to lose the house, the chance of having the house. Didn't even have it yet. So that's back on track. This last leg from New Orleans to Vegas was something else, I'll tell you. We started service. We didn't have much alcohol left on board, and this was a drinking crowd. So we started doing service soon after we took off, and we didn't finish doing service for almost 2 hours. 2 hours. It was like we worked for Delta or something, I swear. We did service. We went through with the cart, and then the minute we brought the cart back up in front, everyone's like bling, bling, bling. I've never sold more coffee in my career as a flight attendant as I have tonight. Like equal to what I've sold over the past 3 years. It was insane. We must have made like 6 or 8 pots of coffee. It was bewildering how many cups of coffee, and then refills, you know. It was nuts. And then it seems the minute that was over, we let the captains out to pee, and then the minute they went back in, I'm eating. I put together a cup of noodles because I was like starving. And the minute I had a couple bites, and then one of the call bell goes off, right? And I go back, and I'm like, oh my God, aren't we done yet? And I go over, and there's a young lady who looks a little concerned, and then her boyfriend is slumped against the window, the fuselage, and he was very, I'd say, vibrant actually when he came on board, full of life. And during the flight, he seemed fine for most of the flight. When I was passing by, because his girlfriend and I were chatting, and so she rang the call bell and asked if he could have some water, and I looked at him and I knew something was wrong. It wasn't him just napping. There was just this slackness that did not look natural. And so I tried waking him up, and I was barely successful. He was like trying to like move my hand away. So I called my coworker Justine up in front. I said, please grab your MedLink form. I'm grabbing a POB, which is a portable oxygen bottle. I did not call the captain right away. Because we didn't have any information. The last time, I should have, honestly. The last time this happened with a POB, I called the captain and he's like, why are you calling me? You have no information. You have nothing to tell me other than you've grabbed a POB. And he's right, honestly. So I grabbed my coworker. She grabbed her MedLink form. So I went over with the POB, which is a portable oxygen bottle if I hadn't already said it. Set him up. I had to have another coworker get me 2 seatbelt extensions because we keep them in the back of the aircraft for some awful reason. So we use those to secure the POB to the base of the seat so it doesn't go rolling around. It's dangerous. It's just oxygen. So Justine is filling out the POB form, the MedLink form with the information I'm getting from the gentleman and his girlfriend, because he's kind of in and out, and it seemed, you know, pretty quickly once I got oxygen on him, he was actually kind of coming around and was able to respond to some of my questions. And when he seemed to be at a point where he was actually sort of, you know, conscious, you know, there's a couple little small jokes or little funny things I'll say as I'm setting him up. And he responded, you know, kind of gently giggled to a few of those, and I told him, you know, clearly you're ill because you're laughing at my jokes, and he continued to laugh, and I had a good bedside manner, and so I took care of him, and with the oxygen, it turns out at 41, which he looked 25, he's really physically fit, no medical history whatsoever, and things like this haven't happened before, but he hadn't had anything to drink and nothing to eat, like all day long. So I took it as a sign that I should get him some juice, and I gave him a muffin, and he was just very weakly eating, you know, and I turned into this, I have this auntie persona that I'll put on when I need someone to eat or drink something for their well-being. And so I turned into the auntie, and he ate a little more of the muffin and some of the juice. And I said, you know, I'm coming back in like 5 minutes to check the gauge on this POB. When I come back, I want to see all this gone, you know, and he's laughing, his girlfriend's laughing. And it just turned out well. It turned out well, but it was a little freaky, only because he was such a sort of a physically fit, healthy looking guy that he just kind of collapsed, you know. But in the end, it worked out well. But I took the second POB because we can only have it reach 500 PSI just in case one of us needs it later on the flight. So I got him a second POB and took that back once we were at final descent and we had to pack everything up. So he got off the plane fine. He didn't want paramedics or anything. So we didn't have to call MedLink or anything like that. It was just a very crazy leg. We didn't sit down for 3 hours. We didn't sit, it was like we worked for Delta or something. All right, so this video has gone on way too long. I do apologize. If you've watched to this point, I want to say thank you very much. You guys are like martyrs. Just watching these videos as long as they are. All right, so I will talk to you guys later. If I hear anything else about the house or when I see or hear anything, I'll certainly let you know. And until then, fly safe, okay?